It's 10:01. I am sending to YouTube.
All right, I'm live, man. I'm live. Bum, 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 bum. Oh no, that's different.
That's right. It's time for the A7FL 3-on-1 podcast. How's it going, everybody? I'm Matt Ryan, bringing it to you live on the A7FL.TV and the A7FL YouTube channel. And you can see we're joined by some illustrious guests. We've got Cory Hammond and Rob Fabian, Big Rob Fabian, as always, as we are 5 days away from the start of the 2023 A7FL season. But we're joined by two people as well who know a thing or two about the A7FL. First, joining us, he is the president of the A7FL. He is Ryan DePaul. Ryan, how are you?
What's up, Matt? Thanks for having me on tonight.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate having you. And also joining us, he is the owner of A7FL Nevada. He is Derek Duncan, Double D. Derek, how are you?
I'm good. Don't forget LA.
Yes, an A7FL LA.
Represent
And we've
West
got
Side,
breaking news. Let's go to Rob Fabian. Rob, we got to go to the A7FL News Center. Rob, what do we got?
Oh my God! Breaking news, man! Your boy Cory just got cut from the snow tribe.
Oh no! Cory, no!
They said Cory got packed. Cory, you are no longer a snow tribe member. Please.
He said, "You can play here, no more."
You already snow.
I thought I schnew better. And just to be clear, this is no cap. I was unceremoniously cut from the Snow Tribe, but good for them. Good luck with their season. But you already should know, because I'm not going to say that clown shit ever again, that I already got a plan.
And we're a minute into the show.
So let's be honest. We already knew the writing was on the wall when every time Big Rob, you'd ask me if I'm the starter for Snow Tribe yet, and only myself was surprised that, wow, he's not. So hold up. I had something in the works for a while, and you already should know.
Oh, no.
Here comes the big reveal, ladies and gentlemen. Big reveal.
Lord. Oh, what?
If you didn't catch it, I've already got some chemistry with some of these guys. Vegas over the top. It's a little bit of a drive. I'm going to have to figure out how to get there each week, but you already should know that the team name is perfect for my play style. Let's go. Derek, thanks for all the support and getting me out there.
Look, we got you, buddy. It's just a short plane flight every week. You're going to have a little jet lag, but I think you'll be okay.
Hey, I'm starting to already get comfortable. Let's go.
Oh, Lord.
So, yeah, I think we're here to do something more important than discuss the free agency of a quarterback getting cut with 1 week left in the season, who's going to enter the season at 36 years old. So, guys, what should we talk about tonight on basically the eve of the season?
It is 5 days away from the start of the A7FL season, and we're deciding to announce our own top 10. That's right. Me, Rob, and Cory got on the phone for about 3 hours, and we came up with our own top 10 list. But we want to do some shout-outs to teams and divisions that are not in the top 10 because we don't know enough about them yet.
Are those really shout-outs? Are those shout-downs?
Nah,
I think they're shit-ons.
Yeah, that's shit-ons.
No, it's not a shit-on.
Nah, that's a shit-on. You guys
say
are just
that.
being nice. You guys are being nice to bums.
Thank you for listening to the 3-on-1 podcast. If you happen to be on the following teams, you did not make the cut, just like Cory Hammond on Snow Tribe.
But that would mean our friends in Columbus and Cincinnati, and Derek, your team's in Los Angeles, because there's a lot of new talent coming in, a lot of roster changes. We know Seth Chambers is remaining with the Covington Heist.
Nice.
We know Dale Hathaway's on the QC Crush. But outside of that, we don't know what we're going to see. And we're hearing about the Sin City Chaos, the Olatangi Volcanoes. We're going to see them play out on Sunday. And on Sunday, we're going to have 10 games. That's 10 A7FL games. You see it there on your screen. We're going to start at 1 p.m. on A7FL.tv with the BIC and the Renegades. And we're going to run up until 7 p.m. when the Pit Bosses take on the Force. And only one of those teams, here's a spoiler, are in the top 10.
Damn. Wonder if it's them forces.
It is a wonder if it'll be them Forces, but you can watch all those games across the A7FL starting this Sunday right here on A7FL.tv. But
my starting concern, let me just jump in real quick. I think people are going to have a really hard time finding where the Sin City Volcanoes play.
See, it's much like...
It's Sin, C-I-N, though, isn't it?
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand that, but when someone
change.
says that to someone, who's
As
going to...
noted poet Robert Van Winkle once said, it's that itty-bitty change that makes all the difference. It's not the same.
And since there isn't yet a Sin City label for any of the Vegas teams yet, I think they just wanted to jump the punch. And let's just be clear with the Ohio division. I like what the QC Crush have done. We talk about what the Covington Heist are, but that division, even though we saw that just absolute spanking that the Nightcrawlers put on the Crush the one time they were on TV, the national games of the week, it was the Covington Heist that were 1-5, and no disrespect to those guys. It was the QC Crush that in division were 3-1. So that's going to be interesting. And let me just shout out to the Volcanoes logo, because I do not know what a pterodactyl has to do with a volcano, but I'm glad for the artwork and I'm glad for the representation of the prehistoric members of the Earth Society in the logos of the A7FL for the first time. So shout out to those dinosaurs. I might have to get a jersey if there's a good player, and maybe an older quarterback on their roster. Car crash to start the show.
It's okay. You love old quarterbacks because you're an old quarterback, but I get it.
Cory, how far is the drive to Cincinnati for you, Cory?
Look, I've gotten offers as offensive coordinator position because of my advanced age in both the Tampa region and the Cincinnati, Ohio, the region, but I'm really comfortable. You know, I just saw the message. I got a message from G Herd. I'm sure he's really excited about the news too.
Oh yeah, he's delighted. But let's get to the reason for the season. It is our top 10, but before we can get to 10, we have to cut a few out, and it's time for the first ones out. Brought to you by Skillshare. You can get free 30 days on Skillshare by going to tinyurl.com/A7FL Skillshare. That's tinyurl.com/A7FL Skillshare. We get money every time you sign up. You get no money committed up front. So sign up now for free at tinyurl.com/A7FL Skillshare. And we see here, gents, in the box, the first one's out, the number 12 North Vegas Kryptonite. The runner-up in the A7FL Fall Brawl, lost a lot of key pieces from fall to the spring. We know that Lex Luthor's still there, and Rob and Cory, that might be the only real reason why the Kryptonite are there.
That's exactly why they're there. If they would have kept the good chunk of those guys that left, you know, they could have easily cracked, you know, the top 10. They could have been number 7, 8, or 9. But without those pieces, we just don't know what kind of team we're getting. All we know is Lex Luthor's there, and there's a few other guys, but I don't know how much difference they're going to be able to make in the long haul. So that 12 spot is definitely theirs.
What we've seen and can kind of confirm is that Jahan Burrell, KJ Burrell, the Cheetah, who made a huge impact in not only the late fall, but obviously the championship game with his 3-on-1 game, his cover corner game, and he's shown that he can be a potential playmaker for Lex Luthor, Darnell Richardson. I would say that one of my dark horses for MVP of this season, if he has enough health, is Darnell, who in the fall was sharing reps and kind of taking a laid-back role as the Kryptonite had all of the early successes in the fall. And I've had personal conversations with Darnell that give me the kind of indication that he's out for a type of a revenge tour, technically which would be his rookie season. And I'm looking for great things from the Kryptonite specifically, and maybe the team, in my opinion, outside of the top 10 that could very easily and very quickly burst in with a couple of early wins in their regular season.
Yeah, so to speak on what happened in our jamboree, KJ Burrell, the Cheetah, actually ended up getting our offensive MVP for the day. So if it tells you how he's still torching the league, he had 2 run backs, as did Savion, for OTT. So, Cory, once you get your timing with Savion down, that's going to be a dangerous connection combination. But, so as you said, Kryptonite, they're half the squad they used to be. They actually had a decent showing. They took second place in the Jamboree out here in Vegas, so behind the Insomniacs. And with only, I think, 9-10 guys that showed up to compete for them that day, and by the time the day was done, guys having to leave and one injury, they were down to 7 guys. And still competed and did a decent job. I got high hopes for Kryptonite by the time they put the thing together. So I like them at the 12 spot just based on all of those challenges and still getting honorable mention top half of the league.
But do they still have Dom and CJ Smith at their defensive line?
I don't think Dom is coming back. No, I think Dom is actually taking the season off, if I'm not mistaken. But
Dom Smith,
and Bjorn Skarsgård, Scott McCorkle, although he will be heavily featured in your games all the time now, he's unfortunately with the sports hernia. I think that's his injury. I don't want to be reporting things like that, but that's what I think he told me. He's going to miss this season too. So, hey, man, the Kryptonite are the second best team in the Jamboree, and I think with, like you said, with limited players, one of the reasons for that is the quarterback for any team, but especially in the A7FL, makes a difference. And if it's Darnell Richardson, you probably got a good chance, every time you line up with that guy as your quarterback. So we'll see. They're 12. They're 12 on our consensus now, but we'll see after a couple of week 1 matchups that are going to be tough for a lot of teams. We'll see how this show shakes out in approximately a week.
Yeah, so we have them in our top 4.
Speaking of OTT, I'm getting a lot of messages right now from G Herd.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Cory. I got another message for you. Your G Herd, you're not actually on OTT. They just want the jersey back.
Wait, what? Hold on.
They just want the jersey back, bro. So you're technically cut from OTT as well.
All right. I didn't. You're right. I just checked it. I did not read. I saw G Herd was hitting me up. So technically,
twice in one night, bro.
Technically, I did steal. Technically, I did steal this jersey, Derek. So hold up. Technically, I did steal this jersey, guys. So Derek, I'll be sending that back to you, and that's an absolute no. By the way, G Herd, you're not getting this back. But because I was also prepared, as I always am, they were talking about superheroes and superpowers, and obviously I have 0 skill. So the one thing that I have to do to be successful in this league for so long with no skill, as everybody's proven by cutting me all the time, is that I am prepared. So,
oh no,
Cory, the chameleon Hammond.
Signing day things.
Yeah.
What is this?
What?
Already?
Come on!
All right, man. Stay
Where
out
are you
of
guys
Vegas.
getting all this apparel from, man? I don't have any apparel.
So listen.
I don't even have bro.
I don't. Nobody sends me anything.
Listen,
I want
listen.
to tip off this shirt.
Listen, Derek, I don't want to waste all of the airfare that we were just talking about. So since it's just right down the road and we know that Trey Robinson is not going to be lining up at quarterback, he's a much better guy, so I have some shoes to fill.
Oh, my God. Yo, I'm tired of Cory.
Yo, nice
Here we go.
Hair, pal.
Well, it's not Cameron Diaz, it's Ben Stiller. Oh, no, it is Cameron Diaz. You're right. It's Ben Stiller's
the number 11
situation.
team, the East Orange Renegades. Behind center, Mike Liberty, Khalil Green in the backfield, DeAndre Haynes at tight end and on defense. Ryan, what can you tell us? Because you're one of the biggest champions of Mike Liberty. A lot of former Hawks are now on the Renegades. Some consolidation in the Northeast because everybody's going after the BIC. There's no doubt about that they have a target on their back the size of Saskatchewan. But what can you tell us about this Renegades team that might surprise some people and putting them right on the doorstep of being one of the top 10 teams in the league?
I mean, I think their defense has always been real strong. You know, number 5, Samad Jenkins, if you watch him play linebacker and you know the linebacker position, I mean, he plays it better than anybody in the league. And you got Baskerville, you got Haynes coming off the edge. Their defense is stacked. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, you team up with Liberty, CP3, Khalil Green. Last time those three played together was in the 2020 showcase, and they beat BIC to get into the championship. So, you know, yeah, I mean, well, I know CP3 might be hurt. You know, that's why, you know, we'll see who might be stepping in a quarterback there. I don't know if it's a season-ending injury or whatnot, but they got a lot of weapons. They got a real tough defense. I think they're going to be good this year. But watch out, number 5 is a lot of fun to watch. If you appreciate that linebacker position, Samad Jenkins, best in the business.
Samad Jenkins is a stud. But again, with the Renegades at the 11th spot, it was very tough to give them that spot because just like everything Ryan said, there's definitely enough of a reason to make them crack that top 10. I'm not going to lie to you, but I don't know if they've done enough in the offseason. That's one. Khalil Green was kind of a no-show last season. As good as he is, as good as he was, we didn't see much from him. Liberty tried to put the team on his back before and it didn't work, and CP3 might be hurt. That defense is the only thing right now that they can count on that can get them this 11 spot, and that's why I feel like they're good right there until, you know, something changes.
Talk to me. What was their record last season?
They beat the Snow Tribe, they beat the Animals twice, and then they lost to the Ute twice and lost to the Gators. I think it was they were 3-4. Oh, and then they lost
to the Buzz. They lost to the Buzz for sure.
Yeah, so they were 3-4.
They beat the Hawks. They played a tough schedule. They definitely played a tough schedule.
Yeah, I would consider their schedule to be one of the hardest.
Yeah, they played the Ute
last
twice,
season.
So that was tough.
But we're out of the. Wow, I'm very tired in producing this in real time. So I am a train disaster. Jesus fucking Christ. Let's take a look at the last ones in. Also brought to you by Skillshare. I'm going to buy some Toastmasters courses on there to learn how to fucking talk before Sunday. I'm the voice of the league. That's just sad for all of you. Number 10 is the Snow Tribe. And number 9 is the Silk City Animals. And it's safe to say, Rob and Cory, the reason why they are at the number 9 spot is Quattrell Huffin.
100%. The Animals don't even crack the top 15 without Quattrell Huffin. I promise you that. We wouldn't even say their names without Quattrell Huffin. But Huff is that much of a threat that just adding him to your team can give you a fair shake. So the number 9 spot for Huff and company for the Animals is probably the best spot for them. And then you have the Snow Tribe at number 10. Snow Tribe is at number 10 for me, and they just made it because they signed Isaac Negron, defensive player, with defensive MVP of last year, correct?
Yeah, defensive player of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Isaac being the defensive player of the year last year has to give them more of an edge. They cut Cory, which they think is a good idea, and they have Jonathan Keels, who I am on record continuously, completely saying he is ass. And he is not enough. But with the combination of Jonathan Keels and Jamal, they might have a shot, you know, at frustrating some teams. Because those guys are both scampy. They run around a lot. They can make a decent throw here and there. But they're still, John Keels is still ass to me. Love you, Keels, but you're ass.
I was about to say, weren't you guys teammates on the Disciples?
Yeah, he was still
I thought
ass.
you guys were like boys, man.
I call him ass all the time. He knows.
So I just want to make sure I understand. A Renegades team with all of the talent that they brought in, and versus a Snow Tribe team without Cory Hammond, we put Snow Tribe above the Renegades.
It's real close. And to be completely honest with you, the reason why that happened is because they picked up Isaac Negron. Right. They've made some key additions at wide receiver, and they made the playoffs last year. That accounts for something. That's why some people are placed in the top 10 where they are, because we respect their game, and they didn't lose a lot of pieces. So it's just trying to understand what they're going to do, what they have in front of them, and how much of what they had last year, for good or for bad, is going to come back.
Yeah, those all sound like reasons why the Renegades should be at 10.
Well, let me tell you about Kevin White. You didn't get to see too much of him in his rookie year. I actually met him in the combine. Kid's an animal, unbelievable athlete, defensive end, running back. I went to Snowchai practice a couple weeks ago. Brought my cleats. They didn't let me get in. Whatever. But watching Kevin White, he lost some weight. He's in unbelievable shape, and the kid's a game breaker. He's probably going to be top 10 player wherever he lines up this year. So
as far as I know, I haven't seen him on the roster. Is he on the roster?
He was at practice
that one time, and I threw him a touchdown in the Keels versus me. One of the three.
I would assume. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, I've heard maybe they just didn't add him yet or something. Oh, he's somewhere else.
He never showed up again. He's not in.
Really?
I don't know. I've been cut, so I don't know anything else. I'm on
Look at Cory throwing quiet shade.
They're not going to let that guy go so easy. I mean, I think he was the brightest spot in that practice. Hands down.
Damn.
Yeah, he's
That was his one. That was the one and only time I saw him. But hey, I'm sure they cut my ass.
That's the thing, Derek. Like the Snow Tribe are not plagued with as many injuries and as many missing players as the Renegades are. Where the Renegades have always had a good defense, their offense has kind of always suffered. Adding CP3, a healthy CP3, would have gave him the 10 spot clearly, but because the Snow Tribe right now have two healthy quarterbacks, even though one of them is ass, CP3 being slightly either injured or injury prone, to me kind of pushes them to that 11 spot. But again, 11 and 12, that doesn't mean you're out. That just means you got to beat somebody to get in. That's all that really means.
I'm just playing my big Rob Fabian role over here and putting out questions to make y'all answer it. Let's do it.
I like it.
Hating for the sake of hating.
I think the only we're having a conversation that I think is kind of basically stupid at this point, but the animals. I think it's better to talk about the animals at 9 and what they basically did in their off season. We talked about the other things,
right?
Whatever that is, but the animals add maybe, and guys, you disagree, maybe the greatest quarterback of all time in the A7FL era. And Ryan obviously we could go back and talk about the other things, but I mean, everybody chip counts and just chip count, boom. But he takes the role with the animals, and they go from a winless team last year to in the top 10, and I think rightfully so. I think it'll be interesting, guys, as we continue, if that's something else we maybe can expect somewhere else. Tease? I think so.
All right, stay tuned.
I don't trust Cory, man.
So at number 9, we got the Quatranimals.
The Quatranimals.
Yes, the Quattrells. Huff and the Quattrell.
I like Huff. The Huffimals better.
The Huffimals.
The Huffimals.
What are they?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The Huffimals. It sounds like a Winnie the Pooh thing. Eh?
Yeah, right.
And let me just address two comments that I'm seeing in the YouTube comments, because I know people are going to be butthurt at this top 10. Listen,
no,
Renegades, and you feel away about being number 11. How about you beat somebody to make your way? Put yourself in the top 10. Don't look over here.
Who on the Renegades has something to say? Seriously.
Listen, go look at the comments. I won't say his name. Because I respect him. No, I respect him. I like the kid. I like him. I like the kid who's talking, so I won't say his name. You can see it in the comments. But also,
that's probably my guy, so I'll just talk.
Listen, the animals have added Huff, which is probably the biggest pickup we have seen in a very long time in A7FL. You're not going to tell me Huff doesn't make that big of a difference. Please stop lying to yourself, especially if Huff kicked your ass before. Don't lie to yourself. Do not lie to yourself. And he did it with a piss poor line last year. I'm pretty sure there's enough on the animals for Huff to make magic, because we've watched him do it. So please cut it out. The animals 100% deserve to be in the top 10 with Huff at quarterback. And they're not in the top 5. They're number 9. That is fair. I think that is ultimately fair to respect to who the quarterback is.
And let's also be clear, as I am still a player-ish, right? Anybody that's watching this that plays, right? Who the fuck cares about what we are saying other than you guys? So thanks for listening.
Bulletin board
material.
All
of this, what we're doing right now should motivate the teams that want to be in a better spot. And I think that will be the case. And all the teams that are up in the top, guess what? Now we just put, as a 3-on-1 podcast and president of the league, owner of Nevada, putting targets on the back. Got to step
California.
up now.
LA.
Yes. And host, both host and co-host of the other side of the ball. And also #1 guest and most of the time producer and executive talent scout. So 8.
Oh God. If y'all thought y'all was mad at 9 and 10, just wait till you...
Oh, we're going to fuck people up right now. This is our first non-New Jersey selection in the top 10.
Top 10. Okay.
Derek, do you want to guess?
Oh no, I'm scared. Sick with it?
No. It is the Orlando Ghosts. They are in the 8th spot.
Well deserved.
Cory, if you want to break it down for us.
Well deserved.
Go ahead, Cory.
All right, so we always talk about how the Florida division is kind of like on the come up. And last regular season, the Orlando Ghosts were the class of the division until a certain Mark Bagway showed up with Deontay Henderson. 2 names that should be household names for anybody that plays in this league is keeping their head on a swivel on offense or plays on defense and is not trying to get caught in that bind of guarding that quarterback. That being said, the Orlando Ghosts as a team, just because the Nightcrawlers are very, very good, does not mean that they weren't also very good. And one of the biggest moves that they made, in my opinion, is they added D. West, the running back from the A team. Now, if you guys may remember, he's that really, really big back. And if you're playing a team that has a dynamic offense, and let's be fair, has 0 clock management awareness, guess what? If there's a blueprint to maybe compete with the Tampa Bay Nightcrawlers, it's to have a running back that can keep their offense off the field, control the ball. And with Joey Bate, his second year in offense, coming from an aggressive defensive player of the year and linebacker his rookie year to his first year as a quarterback last year, I think he's going to improve. And I'm interested week 1 to see what type of tests they can give a team in the Tampa Bay Nightcrawlers if Mark Winway is Mark Winway, that I think we have a lot of high regard for and might be one of the names that we call later.
I'm not against it, Rob.
That Orlando Ghost team. Listen, I'm kind of one of the ones that was a little iffy on them being number 8, but again, being able to compete with a team like the Nightcrawlers, right? Why do I want to say Nighthawks so bad? The Nightcrawlers.
Because it's a cool name.
Compete with them? Yeah, Nightcrawlers kind of cool.
It's Vegas, Nighthawks.
Nighthawks. But being able to compete with them, to me, automatically puts them in that top 10 spot. Because it's really saying that a fully equipped Orlando Ghost team can beat in Animals, a Snow Tribe, a Renegades, and I feel like they can. And again, if you guys have a problem with anything I'm saying, please, Sunday's right around the corner. Just put your cleats on and get a W. That's all I'm saying. I can be dead wrong, but you have to prove that I'm dead wrong.
And the pure shame is that the Orlando Ghosts really are going to have to beat the Tampa Bay Nightcrawlers, not only in the regular season, but if there is a championship game, to get that chance to play any of these other teams in the other competition. So I think one of the biggest shames is that all of the shit talk between Derek U and the other side of the ball and all of the Vegas representatives and our friends over at the Parlay who have really kind of been aligning to somehow get the Ghost just a matchup with a Vegas team somehow. I think that would be interesting, but I'm pretty comfortable seeing them at the 8th spot, although, just like we said before, really their only focus is that they got to be the #1 team out of Florida to make the Final Four in Ohio,
Right.
because that's the only way that they're going to play any of these other teams in the top 10 that we're going to be listing probably in a few moments. Right, Matt?
Yeah.
We told the Florida guys that we were going to take their top 20 versus our top 20, meet in New Orleans, and have a game, Vegas versus Florida, and then have a big money tournament down there to raise the awareness in New Orleans and get the new New Orleans division on the map.
And
when we're done blowing them out of the water,
There
then
you
we can then we can have a conversation about this again.
But that's what I love about you, Derek. You're so motivated to take your guys and destroy them because they've been talking shit. that you are the one that's basically the one that they were begging to, and I don't want to get to the specifics, to make it happen because they can't. You have to. And you were like, fine, we'll do it somewhere else. When they were like, oh yeah, we've got all of the stadiums and they were basically telling Derek that he needed to put it on in Florida for them. And then Derek was like, all right, let's at least walk down Bourbon Street and throw out some beads. New Orleans. You already should know. I'll never say that again.
Shut up, Cory.
Well, you missed the part where they were like, man, Florida, we've got all these hotel rooms and all these stadiums.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes,
have you heard of Las Vegas?
Exactly. It was the worst sales pitch of all time. It's like,
Yo, you like Disney, my guy?
sand. They were literally trying to sell you sand. It's like, I literally live in the desert. Thanks.
Right. It's all good.
But
We've
let's-
had a great
let's
conversation
run
about
through-
who comes
Great job on the parlay. That was a very good episode.
Hulk smash.
Right now, we've got number 10, the Snow Tribe. Number 9,
Man,
the
I gotta
Silk
keep
City
checking my
Animals.
messages. Rob, did you just?
And number 8, it is the Orlando Ghosts. Number 7, it's the home of Mambo Sauce. It's the home of the Nationals. Ugh. And it's also the home of our number 7 team, the DC Buzz.
Let's go.
That's right.
DC Buzz break the top 10, and I believe it. I am listen. The amount of people that played the DC Buzz and came back to me and said, "Oh my God, that quarterback torched us. He destroyed us, bro. It's like a 0.5 second drop back and just lets it fly." Oh yeah, the DC Buzz are going to be a definite problem for a lot of teams this season if they maintain that same hunger they had last season. So them at number 7, clean. And I know they got a couple good pickups too.
And when all of the Baltimore stuff was happening, regardless of how much of a clown show that ended up being, they did benefit from it because there was stability there. There was some guys that I think could have made an impact on different squads if things were the way that we expected them to be, 3 months ago. But based on all of that stuff happening, I think the DC Buzz were one of the teams that got the biggest jump in that. Now, things went back and forth and all this stuff, kind of crazy stuff happened. But the other guy that I think that we have to mention that I don't think gets mentioned enough, and maybe it's because it personally happened to me so many times, Mike He Gon' Make It is a walking touchdown. And stats are the way that you kind of put this in perspective, because if you look at the guy, he's about 5'9". He jumps out of the gym, but when you look at him, you're like, I don't know if I believe it. And then when he's running past you on a 3-on-1 or a fade or even a reverse, in the past 2 times that I faced him head-to-head, he scored 9 touchdowns in 2 games.
Damn.
That's a real thing. And we just talked about one of the teams that I was on when that happened. The Renegades had a pretty good defense.
That's one of the teams you were on?
Well, the other team was the Hawks. And
Hold on, Rob, I'm getting breaking news. We got to go back to you in the newsroom. Let's go back over to the Rob Fabian News Center. Rob?
Coach Bartley said because of one of the comments you made on a few podcasts ago, you got to take that pit bull shit off, boy. You're not on that team either.
Man, they gonna be ass anyway. Man, they out of this top 10.
Cory's going to change his name to They Hate Me.
They hate me.
But
No, it's going to be fuck y'all.
stop
Right.
it. Since you already know that I had a plan,
Oh my goodness, again.
Oh,
I
Is this
better
a-
not get. Listen, I better not get cut from this team. Let's go, Husky.
hey!
One place I have value in the A7FL is on this podcast and in that booth, predicting plays and breaking down terrible quarterback play. Thank you, Ryan DePaul, and actually a lot of times recently too, Derek Duncan, for making this stream of the 3-on-1 and this Huss shirt an absolute beautiful reality. So, unless you guys have something to tell me to my face, am I good at least on this squad?
I mean, Matt makes the cuts, man. Matt and Ryan, I don't know nothing, man.
You're still in
Yeah,
Vegas.
you're fine.
We have a 3-man.
I'll wake up one morning and I'll check the Discord, and all of a sudden I just won't be on it. As they did for the fucking Snow Tribe. How dare they? Anyway.
Ryan, what do you think about the Buzz? I heard you were a big fan.
I like the buzz, man. I like Mark Diggs a lot. You know, like when you play quarterback in this league, you got to have a clock, like a good clock, because you know that pass rush is coming much faster with only 3 or 2 guys blocking in front of you. And like you said, he's just, you know, 1-step drop, 2-step drop, and he's just letting it fly. You know, Mike gonna make it, game breaker. I don't want to say Ashanti worthy, but he's, you know, it's worthy, Pack, Mike gonna make it. You know, like he's pretty close. You know. And then you got the other running back. Can't think of his name right now.
Marcel.
What's
or
his,
Marty,
what's his
Marty Marcel or something like that.
Guy reminds me of Mike Knight.
I think that's it.
Ever see one of the greatest running backs in the league? He reminds me of Mike Knight. You got Loud
He's
Wilson
actually
on the defense.
He's actually bigger than Mike Knight. I don't know if he's as tough as Mike Knight. We'll see. But
Same
Marty,
physique, looks a little bit like him. You know, like they got a well-rounded team. I mean, they got a real tall task week 1. It's going to be real tough to beat the Watchmen.
They got to play them twice.
Yeah, you know. So, but still, I mean, you know, I think they're better than the Renegades. I think they're better than Snow Tribe. I think they're better than the Animals. You know, so I think that they definitely are going to get playoff berth coming out of the Northeast. For sure. So,
and
I'm not going to argue against that.
I think that's pretty close to where they might end up being.
Yeah, and we're moving down this top 10 list. Let us know in the chat what you think. Right now, number 10, it is the Snow Tribe. Number 9 is the Silk City Animals. Number 8, the Orlando Ghosts. Number 7, the DC Buzz. And now, Derek, you seem a little lonely over there on the left side of the country. Seems like you want some friends.
Start talking about Vegas.
Well, don't fret. Don't worry, my friend, because at number 6, they are the reigning and defending A7FL Nevada Spring Champions. It beat them Falses at number 6.
Oh, wow. So they've dropped the slot since we did the postseason top 10.
Yikes.
That's all right.
Derek, please.
Let's be fair.
I want to know how Derek feels first before we even give our breakdown as to why they're number 6.
I'm going to say to you guys what I've said to you the entire offseason. Nobody's giving the Force credit for improving in the offseason, but you guys are giving every other fucking team all this credit for all these moves they're making.
Because we don't know what the Force are doing.
Now, no shit. Exactly. But you guys keep moving them down. And before you knew what they were doing, before you knew what anyone else was doing, you were still not giving them credit for even having the opportunity to get better. So
here's what I'm going to say.
Podcast. I know you guys are going to shit on Vegas and the Force, and I'm surprised they're even still at number 6. When you said, guess who's at number 8, I was positive it was going to be the Force because of the way you guys treat Vegas. So we're clear. The fact that they're at 6, obviously we've done something to improve your guys' outlook on Vegas, but they will show you on the field
10.
what's going on.
They are top 10.
And I think as we continue to go, I think we can make an argument that this is, obviously very tentative. But Derek, as much better as the Force are getting for all of the reasons that you're insinuating, and not necessarily, I'm not ever been accused of being like intelligent, so I'm not gonna like a math guy tell me show your work. But what we do know for 100% certain is that RTC in division was probably the biggest reason their offense was successful game in and game out is not on their roster. And Tone Smith is gone. Dillard Davis is gone. I've heard a lot of guys exit the Force, which is what it is. Now they do have the returning, player that is one of the only ones, including Tone Smith, that has won both the fall and the spring, and Curtis Jones. And Pac-Man has obviously made plays not only in division, but we saw him making plays even against BIC. And I think Rock Briscoe, even though the joke is that he's old, so I like him, but I think he is thrown under the RTC bus a little bit too quickly at times based on the success that he had in the regular season, which is going to be a huge determining factor. As to get to the championship, all Rock has to do is beat West Coast teams.
Right.
So and then Ohio. So let's not forget about that.
Well, we're not sleeping on
West
Ohio.
Coast. Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're in the West Coast, even though they're not. So all of the stuff that we're saying, we did not even include an Ohio team in the top 10. So I also think that based on where we're at, and if you do the math, the Force are relatively highly ranked in the division of Vegas too. So I think. Although, if you ask Coach Mack, I am the worst journalist in the history of all written journalism. And I reported that RTC was not going to be on Dem Forces because I heard it from the man's mouth on accident because he slipped. And that was bad journalism. And it just so happened that I was wrong, but it still happened that I was right. The fact is that I think we do still respect that they have a plan, that they were successful. And if they can improve, because look, they're the only team that can say that they faced BIC, period.
Facts. They won in New Jersey.
And that,
Listen,
to us,
they're the only
lot.
team that can say they won in New Jersey, and that's why it's much easier to put them in the top 10 than kick them out or drop them to 7, 8, or 9. I'm not doing that to the Forces. Curtis Jones is still there. You have to respect that man's play. He is a playmaker. He's fast. He's intelligent. He has football, like the football mind is there. I will never disrespect him by throwing him out of the top 10. That's insane. And they're the defending Vegas champs. Put some respect on their name. But because they have been no-shows, because in my opinion, half of the reason they were good is now gone and is on another team in RTC.
Tone Smith.
Yeah, you can't look past Tone Smith.
No, of course not. I'll never look past Tone Smith. But offensively, it was Curtis and RTC that went to New Jersey and really put on a show.
Right.
They put on a show. So if Curtis is there, cool. But if RTC isn't,
and he's not.
And he's not. So for me, for me, it's a safe spot at 6. It gives them an opportunity to kick a lot of ass over there on the West Coast to get their rank up. Because right now, I don't even want to harp on this too long because the top 5 is about to blow everyone's mind.
But before we move off this specific topic, I want to ask Derek Duncan, based on what you know, because I would say that just the whispers of the Sick With It team, I would be almost comfortable to say that in a head-to-head matchup, Force for Sick With It, some people might say that Sick With It are the favorites.
They got the win.
Sick With It never existed before. So what I'm saying is that we just put the Force at 6. Derek Duncan, based on what you know, because you obviously know more, in just a neutral, just regular game, who do you think would be the favorite between the Force, as you know them to be, and Sick With It?
Force by 6 would be just based on the talent that Sick has. You have to give them their credit, but they've not operated as a team as long as Force has operated as a team. Right. There's a lot of continuity with the Force. The cuts that the Force made to get their roster down to 35, they literally cut our defensive MVP of the division to cut their roster down. They cut Dillard Davis to get their roster down. They cut other guys that were staples on that team. So that means that they have someone better at that position, someone that's a better fit for them at that position. So to me, that says, well,
because a lot of teams have been cutting players that I don't think are better or worse.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, but the Force have actually intelligent management. I can't say anything about.
Fair. I absolutely 100% agree with that caveat.
So from what I've heard of the drama that you were getting from the Snow Tribe or all those things and them scheduling practices, mandatory practices when you told them that you're going to be out of town.
Don't inside soup too much. It's mostly a joke.
My bad.
We can talk about
whatever. So as far as how the Force is run, the fact that they cut for guys that I know are staples in our league and are going to be stars on the other teams that they're going to, that only tells me that the guys that are taking their spot are a better fit for their team. Whether they're better players or not, they're a better fit for their team, which gives them a leg up on Sick at this point for me.
And I would say that we will see them week 1 against the most recent team to cut me in the Pit Bosses. And to be clear, just because they just cut me, I hope that they get routed just the same. So let's go, Dem Forces. And I see Curtis Jones is active in there, so you do your thing, my friend. You do your thing. And your hairline's better than mine officially, by the way.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, this is not us disrespecting the Force. It's them not letting us know who they're going to have on their team. Right. We just are looking at it through the opaque glass of whatever the hell's going on there.
Hey.
I've heard from people on the Force roster and people around Vegas that the Force are going to be better, that they brought in better athletes. But have they played A7 before? The learning curve that they had in the fall isn't there. They didn't participate in the fall. Right. They didn't participate in Jamboree. Outside of Curtis and RTC, who are not there, well, RTC's not there anymore.
Yep.
Ken Curtis Jones.
RTC,
The RTC
Go ahead, Derek.
loss is why they dropped for us. That's bad.
Honestly.
RTC is a huge loss. Let's not get into it.
That's basically our only retort to your statement of us dropping them from five to six, basically. But I think you'll be surprised to see what
You'll be surprised, Derek. Just listen,
Should we give him number 5?
Hold on. Just everybody, just be patient. I want everybody to grab something to drink. 5 through 2 is gonna be tough.
Ooh.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a nasty surprise. I wish everyone luck. DM me if you want. At me. I don't care. You better win a game. Good luck, guys. Go ahead, Matt. It's all you.
And then live reactions. So let me say, before we do that, the loss of RTC to the Force is tremendous.
Facts.
Especially what we saw out of him on defense in the championship. So losing that from them and losing Tone's defense from the Force, they've got 2 really, really big holes to fill on the defensive side of the ball, and of course a huge hole to fill with losing our division MVP and RTC to the Insomniacs, who is a stacked team now. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Vegas is going to turn out, because we've got 4 teams that are literally vying for top spot just looking at the rosters right now.
And let me just say this about the Force, because I've just looked at the comments, because Mark Cooper, a personal friend of mine, guy I've thrown touchdowns to, multiple, by the way, he said put respect on the Force's name. So is that a confirmation, Mark, that you are on dem Forces?
He did make the cut.
I think that would be a big move for them. And if they're adding guys like that, then maybe they could potentially slide up. Maybe.
Well,
Rob?
look, I've only seen Mark play a little bit. The guys on the Orlando Ghosts vouch for him and say that he's a star. So the fact that he left their division and they're still saying he's a star, that means they improved the roster spot for sure.
Hey, man, the only thing that it just rubbed me just a tiny bit for Mark is he called me sir, and I never felt older in my entire
With
life.
your old ass.
I was like, I am the pterodactyl on the volcanoes logo. I am a dinosaur for sure at this point. And I keep getting all these gray hairs because of the times I'm cut from teams.
Exactly.
Well, if you're like Cory and you need to learn some stuff so you don't get cut, or if you want to make more people interesting, you can head on over to tinyurl.com/A7FL Skillshare or tinyurl.com/A7FL Skillshare. I did a Cory Hammond just there. You can sign up for a free 30-day trial, and you help us out. You get to learn new stuff, you get to educated, and you get a whole lot of fun stuff, and you give us money. The whole conceit here is you pay them nothing. They pay us something. So go to tinyurl.com/A7FL Skillshare. That's tinyurl.com/A7FL Skillshare. I'm Matt Ryan, joined by Big Rob Fabian, Cory Hammond, A7FL President Ryan DePaul, and A7FL Nevada and A7FL Los Angeles owner, Derek Duncan. Let's go through the top 10.
And new
What was that, Derek?
quarterback for OTT, Derek. No, actually, no.
Yo, stop.
No, I misread that one too. I misread. Sorry, Derek. I don't want to put you out there. I know your wife would be mad at me.
She'd love to see me play again. She just does not want to recover from me.
Fair enough.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the top 5.
No,
That's right. We're in the top 5. Let's count it down. Number 10 is the Rahway Snow Tribe. Number 9 is the Silk City Animals. Number 8 is the Orlando Ghost. Number 7, the DC Buzz. And number 6, Dem Forces.
Here we go.
I want predictions right now from Ryan and Derek. Derek, first you. Who's going to be number 5?
Well, I think I heard you actually accidentally drop that, so I'm going to reserve my guess.
Cory Hammond.
Ryan?
Cory Hammond's. My fantasy team is stacked.
You got it, Ryan.
Off topic a little bit, man. All this turnover is wild to me, man. You know,
It is.
teams jumping around because this guy went to this team, this guy went to this team. Like, settle down with your team.
Listen,
championships
man,
aren't built
if
on
you
rosters.
aren't
Stuff is
cutting
crazy.
guys 1 week before the season, what are you doing the
Shut up,
entire
Cory.
6 months of the offseason?
It's just like, to me, it's like if I'm, like me playing in this league, I'm saying it's like signs of weakness to me. Like, I don't need to be jumping onto all these other teams. It's just wacky. I don't understand it at all. But anyway.
Ryan, you were good. But if you got cut, you would be. So, anyway.
I get it, but, whatever.
What's your guess, Ryan? What you got? Who do you think number 5 is? because no one's gonna get it right. No one. No one.
Oh, I mean, I think I heard it, so I get it right.
So-
That's the
so
reason. That's
don't-
why I'm not guessing.
Okay.
Oh, just
Yeah, I don't know.
five.
O-Town Orange.
All right, I'm gonna venture a guess just so I have something in there that's not what I heard. I'm gonna say the U.
Ooh.
Why? Well, hey, wait. You can't just say that. And then that, why? How do you say that they dropped to 5?
Well, they lost Quattro Huff.
Right.
They lost Isaac Negron. That's big shoes
True,
to fill.
true.
The defensive
Yeah,
player of
yeah.
the year and the best quarterback in history. You lose those two pieces, and you automatically should take a step back.
I agree.
So-
I think the U's like one of the exceptions to the guys not jumping around and picking up new guys. They've had
Except for what happened just last
just
week.
recently, yeah, but it's unusual.
So-
like they're a good they're good because they
I
have a
think they'll
core
be
of
fine,
guys
yes.
that have been around for over
Right.
like Moon's been here since 2008. Those
And they
guys
got
have been playing together
and
for a
week
long
one
time.
they can kind of figure it out. They got a nice little landing spot there. So who do they play?
Well, all right. No half stepping, no bullshit.
Let's go, Matt.
A team that has yet to win in the American Sevens Football League went from the basement to the top 5 as the Las Vegas Insomniacs are the 5th-ranked team in our preseason top 10 power rankings.
Don't sleep on the Insomniacs.
Now,
The
Derek
Las
will
Vegas
report
Insomniacs, bro.
that the Jamboree was basically a showing out party for the Insomniacs in which they won the Jamboree by a combined points of how many?
Yeah, so
36
they had a
points.
36.
Yeah, they had a point differential of 36, and the next closest team was 5. So
Yes.
they won by 30. So they basically dog walked all of Vegas. But
Listen,
Sick with it and the Force were not participating, and the Kryptonite were short staffed. So
And I'm gonna give it to you like this: for anybody who has a question as to why a team that never won a game is in the top 5, if you go watch the Vegas Fall Brawl Championship, you'll see the Kryptonite with RTC, and you'll see the Pit Bosses with Trey Robinson.
Antone
And Tone. And those guys are now all
And Munch.
and all of
and
them.
Munch
They
What?
are literally all on the Insomniacs.
and Scooter.
The best parts. of
Scooter's the
those-
starting quarterback.
Yeah, the best part of those teams are now on the Insomniacs. And guys, don't get your panties in a bunch. These are pre-season.
No,
rankings.
let him. Curtis Jones specifically is doing that little like brown triangle emoji with the face. I don't know what that actually stands for.
They're getting upset. And here's the truth. Listen, at the end of the day, everything that was good about the Pit Bosses went to the Insomniacs. Half of what was good about the freaking
Kryptonite.
Forces, the Kryptonite and
Kryptonite.
the Forces,
Yeah.
they went to the Insomniacs. So on paper, the Insomniacs are the best team in Vegas. On paper.
Now,
Why
let's
did
be
this
real though.
happen?
Let's be
Why?
real.
Why did this happen?
I don't
Yeah.
listen. I don't know,
Well,
and I don't know.
I can
Derek,
tell you.
Maybe, yeah, Derek, go ahead.
Oh,
Well,
no.
Derek, then elucidate.
Well, so here's the situation. So basically, in the spring, we had 3 teams, right? We did not grab the attention of all the football players in Las Vegas until about week 4, week 5. And they saw what we were building in Las Vegas, and they all decided they wanted to be a part of it. So once the season was done, they all jumped in the fall and started cutting their teeth. The Force wasn't available for them to play with, and so the Force lost the opportunity to ingratiate themselves to those guys. So you had 6 teams, some of them thrown together, some of them player coaches and doing what they can do. Let's the OTT and the gold, right? They filled rosters but didn't really have much continuity. Hunters filled rosters, didn't have a lot of continuity. The Kryptonite and the Pit Bosses
Didn't have a coach either, by the way. Anyway.
yeah, right. Well, but the Kryptonite and the Pit Bosses have the coach and Coach Bartley. The Kryptonite had the continuity and the flag guys that all loved to play together, which was Munch and RTC and guys like that. And once that got done and they saw what it was, they started thinking about how things could fit together. So that dream team that beat OTT soundly, sorry, Cory, was there. And a third of those guys have returned and have split out to go to Sick With It and to the Insomniacs. So we've been slowly trying to get the attention of the better players in Vegas that weren't already playing ball. And now that they're here, they've decided to basically pull a Watchmen and try to get as many of them on one squad as possible. Hello, Insomniacs.
I think the most interesting storyline going into at least the beginning of the season, and we can talk about it, and Derek, you can probably go into more detail because you literally work with the guy. But Trey Robinson, we said, was our fall-star quarterback based on his performance in the fall, and specifically a great performance in the championship when, all of the lights were kind of the brightest. He had the attention of the entire league. He was facing the toughest opponent, a team that he got his ass kicked earlier in the season, and he rose to the occasion and put on special quarterback play. And we could say what we want, where he lists in the league and all this other kind of stuff. But if you just want to talk about that day, there's not a lot of people that are alive that have played an A7FL game that's comparable or better, period.
Right.
Now, he goes to the Insomniacs, and his natural position maybe in his earlier years in football, and, A7FL is obviously a little bit different, has always been more of that, ball carrier athlete position, not the quarterback. And what he's doing is it seems like the conversation that we're getting and the information that we're getting is that he's taking the step back to let Scooter take the reins, the guy who was basically kind of like the throw-in guy for Kryptonite in the fall. Had that really great highlight, at the halftime for the lacrosse game, right?
Yep.
Got the bucket hats banned from the league, but now he's going to be the quarterback. But now he's going to be the quarterback for the Insomniacs. So I think it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic, and we're really going to get, once we get week one, it's Insomniacs, Sick With It. Two teams that I think we all probably see going in are going to be, at least have a say for what's going out there in the West. And it's going to be interesting to see how they handle the quarterback position, because with success, everybody's roles stay awesome and cool. If they hit a bump in the road and they got a guy in there that looks like Trey Robinson, is Trey Robinson, and is Trey Robinson, how are they going to stay within themselves to do what they were planning to do, which was nice and cute and awesome when they were, Facebook message calling me at 1 a.m. New Jersey time, because those guys are up late. But I think it's the most interesting team going in potentially into the league, other than maybe a team that we mentioned later, which is, like you mentioned, Derek, another situation where a lot of guys with a lot of talent are going to have to figure out how to build that chemistry real quick.
Because let's just be honest, right? That Insomniacs team is looking like a Vegas all-star team. And we have to just respect the talent that they were able to put together in this quick time between the fall and the spring. It is what it is. We saw what Trey Robinson can do. We've seen what RTC can do. We've seen Tone Smith. We've seen these guys. So we know that they're going to be very competitive altogether, even with Scooter at quarterback, because Scooter can run, and Scooter can run you over. So good luck tackling that man one-on-one and, not waking up sore the next morning.
And we literally just saw them Sunday play every other team except for two and dominate. There you go.
Right. So a little bit of commentary on Scooter to go back to our fall star selections, because Cory, I was all on Lex Luthor, Darnell Richardson as my primary quarterback, and I let Big Rob talk me into going with Trey because the running quarterback, the guy who will look to run, has had better success in this league specifically
and
than
to be clear, for all of my pocket passers, that was not my argument. My only argument against Darnell Richardson was statistically, because he was sharing the snaps with Scooter. He didn't have the same stats as Trey, because I would agree with you before you switched your mind, Derek. But anyway, I just had to derail the show, as I always do. Go ahead.
The point is, with that switch, putting Scooter at quarterback gives another dynamic, because he is the guy can drop dimes, but he is virtually impossible to bring down, and he is a great runner as well. So you still have that dynamic as a pocket passer who will look to run and bowl you over when he does go to run. So that's something that if you got little DBs trying to rush the passer to bring somebody down, and you've got a guy that's back there 290 and can run, that's scary shit. I don't know how that's going to work out for people who are trying to defend against him when he takes off. So
and I think nobody's a bigger fan of that man doing big things than our guy Matt Ryan right here.
That's right, thick boy season.
Go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry.
Let's
Ryan, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, listen, I love Scooter, man. I think, everything that he brings. But to me,
why'd you make him get rid of his hat, Ryan? If you love it.
Listen, that wasn't me. But Trey Robinson's a champion. You know, like you could just see it in his demeanor. You could see the way he carries himself. Like during that whole championship game, man, he's, you know, every single play like it's his last play. You know, even when he does shit wrong, it's like he puts his hands over his face for a second, shakes it off, right back to the huddle. You know, like, I don't know that Scooter's that guy. Like, I think that Trey Robinson's got to champion that team to you know, a national championship. I mean, Scooter's very capable. Guy's a freak of an athlete. But to me, like, Trey Robinson has, like, that CP3 type demeanor to him. You know, like, he's
a winner. He's a winner.
He's a winner, man.
Yeah,
and I think he does it at the quarterback position. I don't know why he's moving himself to receiver. It's his natural position. But really, like, that's the kind of guy that could put a team on his back. With the way that he plays football, that's what's going to rally guys around him. Scooter does the craziest shit. I mean, his accuracy is crazy. Everything Derek says about him is absolutely true. And, you know, you could kind of go with the hot hand. I don't think that you just call out who's the starting quarterback on that team at this point. You know, it would give defenses fits to have a rotation, have a different package for each of those guys and not just be, you know, stuck in one situation. You know, like, I know Scooter's hard to bring down, but when that pass rush gets to him, he's, you know, where's he going? You know, so
forward.
I think it's a yeah.
In Vegas he is. In Vegas he is.
It's, you know,
and everywhere he is.
Yeah, he's a freak.
That's a lot of man right there.
He's got to be on the offense too. You know, no doubt about it. But Trey Robinson,
I have a question.
Quarterback.
Do we see Trey Robinson as a top 4 quarterback in the A7FL? Is he in the conversation for that?
I absolutely think so, man. I thought it was Bagway when we all thought it was Bagway. We thought Derek flew Bagway out there for the fall brawl. Remember? We're like, who is that guy? Remember the first time we saw him? We were all thought it was Bagway. You know, he goes all the way back to Pennsylvania. You know, I was digging up footage from him from 2012 and 2013.
Well, I actually remember him. I actually remember him playing. I remember that.
Well, according to Buck, he's the best quarterback in the league, right? So we could say that. No, so Huff, Sterry, or obviously however you want to
No.
put them.
Sterry, Huff.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Sterry, Huff, Bagway, Trey.
It's all time.
Okay. No. Let's. We don't have to say all that. Sterry, Huff, Bagway, Trey. I can see it. I can see it.
Do we say Darnell Richardson isn't better than a guy who's playing wide receiver?
He's not though.
He's not better than the guy who's starting over the wide receiver that just left his team to be.
Who won head-to-head?
His backup.
That's the answer to the question. Who won head-to-head?
Thank you, man.
It's 1-1 because
no. It ain't no 1-1.
Trey didn't play that game.
What?
It ain't no 1-1.
Trey played.
I don't think Trey played in that game. Or was it the Hunters game?
It ain't no 1-1, bro. Who won the chip? All right.
Pit Bosses won the chip by 3 points, and the Kryptonite when they played the Pit Bosses, boat raced them. So I would say.
Well, let's talk about it then. Sterry and Huff. Sterry won on a 1-yard line play.
Right, but
yeah,
in the championship.
And I say that Huff is the best quarterback in the history of the league, so I could say both and still be right. One's the best right now, one's the best in history. So
for me, the knock on Trey is some of his decision making when he rolls out of the pocket and throws back across his body. Most of his picks have come when he's out of phase and trying to make plays on the run and not seeing the defender who's baiting him. So that's the downfall of Trey's game. So I don't see that happening with Scooter very frequently, and that's probably why they've decided to have Scooter be the starting quarterback. But I do see a package where they will interchange them like they did with Darnell Richardson and Scooter last season.
Say it again, Derek. Say it again, Derek. That's exactly how I feel. We got to stop acting like Trey's not on the team. We got to stop acting like Scooter isn't smart enough to realize Trey might be better against this team. They're a Swiss Army knife right now. They can do whatever they want.
But if he's the fourth best, if you're arguing that he's the fourth best quarterback in the league, is Scooter the fourth best?
No, but Scooter.
So then what are we really talking about?
I don't know. You don't want to bring it up.
I'll tell you what we're talking about.
Bring it up.
I'll tell you what we're talking about. I see Trey Robinson as Ashante Worthy quality as a receiver and a returner. So if you get a quarterback that can throw the ball to a guy like Ashante Worthy, or now we're going to say Trey Robinson, that gives you another dynamic to stretch the field that opens up underneath. So Scooter can take off and run the same way Sterry does.
Well, and let me say something that's a really, really hot take. I might be wrong, but Munch might be the best pure pass-catching receiver in the league. Now, he's not the best route runner compared to maybe Kason Campbell, and he's not the type of athlete or playmaker or explosive player that Ashante Worthy is. He's not even anywhere near as fast as a guy like Pac Money is, or even Savion Cunningham. But when the ball's in the air, Munch adjusts to the ball when it's in the air better than anybody that I've seen so far, maybe.
No, that's
And
cool.
that's
but
a hot take, but it is
no,
what it is.
it's not a hot take. You said way
He's
too
the
many
best
names before him,
pass
though.
catcher.
I feel you, but they'll discredit it because you said way too many names.
Let's just say
he's not a better player than Ashanti.
He's not. Listen,
he's not a better, in my opinion, route runner than Kason Campbell.
Listen, the comparison to say he's
faster than
hold on.
D-Pack
The comparison to say that
Money.
he's one of the best, catchers in the league or whatever you said. You got to compare that to Q Bell, who now has Sterry as his quarterback. Yeah, you can't.
I think that he's a type of guy like that. That's what I'm saying.
And I think Q Bell is ass, but that's just me.
Oh,
he's actually good. No, hear me out.
Q Bell is
actually
a great wide
good.
receiver. He just plays like 3 plays a game.
He's really good, but
he was on the Hawks last
year.
year. Did you see? I didn't. I was the quarterback. Well, I was the backup.
Yeah, I always tell Q Bell he's ass. That's just my thing. But Q Bell's actually good, and I respect his game.
He's the Heinz Ward of our league, man. He's the best blocking wide receiver ever.
I agree.
He's like annihilates people from the wide receiver position.
He won an MVP at the quarterback position. You'll never hear me shade either of the Bell brothers ever.
Yeah, no.
I just wasn't including him in here because he is probably, to be fair to Q Bell, A7 because of just the effort level. And they were the identity of the Savage, so it's hard to play for BIC that they're lining up for this year.
But
he plays like
let's get back.
Go ahead.
I know we got to get to the next pick here, but just ask yourself this: championships on the line, games on the line. You putting the ball in Scooter's hand, or you putting the ball in Trey Robinson's hand?
I'm giving it to Scooter, yo.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Scooter with Trey as an option to throw to. I mean, that's.
There it is.
Let's think about that.
I'm gonna go out on an even bigger limb here, and I'd say, if it's a quarterback out in Vegas and I got one play, give me the evil
Cory
super
Hammond,
villain. Give me the evil super villain. I got cut from all the Vegas teams. Chill. You don't get the character. I don't come on here. I talk about myself all the time. I've never said I'm the best ever. I just throw for 300 yards on everyone. Bye. So whatever.
All right, Matt, let's piss some more people off, man.
Well, Derek, you got one comment before we go?
Yeah, I did one more thing to add about Munch. So the thing that makes him special is the 50-50 ball becomes a 95-5 ball. Nobody beats him and high points the ball better. No one goes to the ground and goes underneath and catches the ball better that I've seen in my playing days. So
and nobody does a better offensive pass interference on D Packer without getting called than Munch either.
And pulled his arm out of socket apparently in doing so. But so that's Munch's game. He's got some speed, he's got some good route running, but he's exceptional at bringing the ball down when it's in his radius. Period.
And that was my point.
Well, let's take a look at the radius of the top 5, or the bottom 5. Coming at number 10 is the Schno Tribe. Number 9 are the Animals. Number 8 are the Ghosts. Number 7 are the DC Buzz. Number 6 are the Forces. Dem Forces, the Vegas Force. And number 5 are the Insomniacs. We take a trip back to our home division. They were a yard away from their 3rd straight A7FL championship. But now they are number 4 in our power rankings. The Patterson U come in at number 4.
Damn. Okay, I'll take
and
this
Rob's
one.
doing all that because he is
I'll
absolutely 100% as responsible as anybody on this
Oh,
panel
yeah,
for this
100%.
being here.
And I'm going to stand up and take accountability for leading this one. Listen.
I heard you were in the gym, though.
Oh, I'm in the gym right now. Listen, I just came from the gym. Stop playing.
He says we, but he's not coming back. He says we when talking about the U, but he's not coming back.
Listen, man. If you asked me where the Patterson U was 2 weeks ago, easily number 2 or 3, right? But with losing Huff, that was already a hit. But then you're replacing the loss of Huff with a guy like Buck, who again isn't the greatest, but Buck is still Buck, and you still have Moon in the background. But you added all these vicious and aggressive guys from Baltimore. They lost every single one of those guys. And
except
we're talking
Snags.
Except for Snags. And
Nick
we're talking
Crosland,
a week or 2 weeks before the season starts. I'm not saying that the U can't get it together, but if they're going to sit here and say they were not scrambling when they lost all these high-quality players, I think that's a bold-faced lie. They have definitely dropped from the number 2 spot to the number 4 spot because, honestly, without that offensive firepower coming from Huff, with the line that they had last year, and with the loss of Isaac Negron, I mean, what other place can we give them that can show them the respect, but also show them that they lost a step than to put them at number 4? We're going to say that they're better than a lot of other teams, but I don't think they're cracking the top. I don't think they can beat the top 3 that we have at all with what they got going on. Not to mention,
I
we
think
haven't
that's
seen
too
it.
far. I think they could beat these teams in front of them. They could.
No, I don't know. They can't. They can't, because there's only 2 teams. We're only talking about
3.
2 teams that they can beat. No, 2, because no one's beating the number 1 team.
Okay.
It's just not happening.
It's just not happening. You got to wake me up from that. I got to see that. But
So they're going to go on an 18-0 run, is what you're saying.
probably. And
Wow.
But the U, they have lost too much. And then coming from a season where they lost to their division rivals 3 times in a row, to then lose to them in the chip again in a close game, then lose your star quarterback, then lose all your acquisitions from Baltimore, and Big Mo retired, Isaac left. That's a lot of losses. And I think putting them at number 4 is very respectful to who they were, and it's giving them high hopes to who we think they are.
Well, and
I think it's fair.
And week 1, they have one of the first top 10 matchups that we'll get. So maybe they'll have a tough opponent in week 1. I think we would all.
Ryan, I want to get your thoughts. What do you take away from this?
now.
The U being at number 4, do you feel it's fair?
They're loving this, right? If they were on this line, they'd tell you to don't even rank them. Is what
Facts.
they'd want. They don't even want. Don't rank us. Don't talk about us. Don't rank us.
I don't know what the official line is, but last year their official media line was we're here to win a chip, and they didn't. So.
Oh my, Cory, you're so lucky you're not on the team. They are gonna take your head off. They're gonna destroy you.
They know where I'll be. I wouldn't be surprised if, Fletcher just comes from the sideline, just dives over the broadcast table, just sacks me there.
Right.
Wouldn't be.
Welcome to week 1 of the A7FL Games of the Week. Corey Hammond's currently being chased around the parking lot. Let's actually get a live look in at the track right now as Corey's ass being chased all around the stadium, and it looks like he's about to hop into the water outside the stadium.
They would have already caught me.
No, but go ahead, Ryan.
They're gonna have to go back to old school U football, like pre-Huff days,
Right.
which is ground and pound, Moon at quarterback. This is probably gonna be Moon's last year. This is probably his last year, and that might be their battle cry this year. I mean, the guy's been playing since 2008, and he still looks like he's 17 years old somehow. Incredible.
Corey Hammond's available at quarterback.
Moon's.
Moon's
gonna get
there.
that team together. You're gonna see more of Mims on offense, probably. He's a game breaker. Hardbody's going to be back there again. They still got Dot Boss, and I don't think Ryan Shamar is just going to, sit around and let all these guys exit and not do his own recruiting. He's involved in a lot of the flag game. He's got some tricks up his sleeve. I guarantee he's sitting here salivating, listening to all this.
So 4 is fair.
Number 4.
4 is fair.
4 is fair. Yeah, 4 is fair. 4 is fair.
Feeling good about my guess with them at 5 now, so that worked out okay.
Well, let's get back here real quick. Let's
Right.
count down. Number 10, the Snow Tribe. Number 9, the Animals. Number 8, the Ghost. Number 7, the Buzz. Number 6, the Force. Number 5, the Insomniacs. And number 4, the Patterson U. There are 3 conceivable teams left. Ryan, Derek, I want your prediction on who's number 3. Derek, we'll start with you.
Nightcrawlers.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'd say Nightcrawlers too.
I say BIC.
Yeah. I don't know that they belong at number 3, but that's who the 3-on-1 put them.
BIC at number 3 because they suck. Nah, all jokes aside. Nah, go ahead.
We're going to need a human shield on Sunday. We're going to toss to Sobermans and Zach Morgan. And shout out to Zach Morgan, who will be joining the broadcast team as the host of A7FL Game Break. That's right, during the A7FL Games of the Week, we're going to have game breaks from all across the A7FL. You can join us for every single game across the league, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's this Sunday. 10 games going on across the A7FL. I'm really excited to see what happens. Shout out to the commentary teams that will be doing the other games across the country. But let's take a look at number 3, and it is the Tampa Nightcrawlers. When you look at the quarterback position, Mark Bagway is a generational player in that division and can make the argument that he's the number 2 quarterback in the league behind Sterry Codrington. And Deontay Henderson can be considered one of the best linebackers in the country, and he's probably the best linebacker in Florida. Rob, Cory, when we were talking about this felt like the best position for them. Because in terms of potential and how things played out last season, and they're seemingly getting better. They've added to their team, and they're bringing Bagway back. And we keep hearing about Mark Winway. Do you think the potential is actually going to pay off, Rob?
I do, because I've been advocating for Florida since I saw what they did. And I think Florida's up next. I think they might get the jump on Vegas if Vegas isn't careful. So me thinking that Mark Bagway...
We're careful.
We're careful. Me thinking that Mark Bagway and company can get it done, I don't think it's a far-fetched thought. I think everybody saw it. I think even Ryan was one of the first people to say it. I am not a believer. I will not believe anything off of hearsay. I am a big eye test guy. And what I saw Bagway do to the rare breed, I'm sorry, I can't unsee that. And then after that game, even after a loss, the conversations that I was having with plenty of people in the league who will probably want to remain nameless, maybe not now because the U lost a step, they were saying if the Nightcrawlers got past the rare breed, they would have beat the U.
Which is a great way for me to do my counterpoint, and I think why they end up at 3 with all of the respect that they have, with as great of a quarterback and as great of a performance as that he put on. How'd that game end against the rare breed? They lost. So
they lost the game.
I think that aspect of their team, if they addressed the way in which they approached the A7FL, I think that they could be a really dangerous team that when we get to Ohio, let's be honest, whoever comes out of the Northeast, they're facing Florida, whatever that Florida team is. And whether it's the Ghost, like we said, somehow they are better than the Nightcrawlers, that means that they're really good.
Right.
But if it is the Nightcrawlers, as we might assume, like preseason, which, by the way, anyone listening to this, and let's just be clear, obviously K-Wack, what's up, my guy? D'Angelo from the Renegades, what's up, my guy?
What's that? Hold on. What's that wink doing? What's that Santa Claus ass Miracle on 34th Street wink? Like what kind of games are you running, Hammond?
This stupid ass hair is getting all in my eyes. My bad, guys. And then obviously Curtis Jones, who loves everything that I say, especially when it's about hair specifically. What?
Did Gianni Breland announce his squad?
I don't think anybody's really concerned, honestly.
I am.
I just saw the replay, and although he covered Ashanti Worthy pretty good, there was that one play in which Ashanti Worthy stiff-armed him into the field. And although he played a great game, I think the best thing that he could have done is go to Coach Mack and be like, look.
Yo, it's Derek's face right now, yo. It's Derek's
everybody
face right
that you've ever talked to, Coach Mack, has gained 40 pounds of muscle. Let's go. I'm not trying to get stiff-armed like that ever again. So, Gianni, did you announce where your team is going, or did you get cut too? I don't know.
No, Gianni's no longer on the force, so I'm curious where he's ending up.
Damn.
Because that's gonna be a big get.
But that's one of those positive switches that he didn't get cut.
He did.
He got cut.
Oof.
Him and Dillard both.
How? What?
All right. Well, Gianni actually, I was just throwing shade. One play does not make a football player. I've thrown, it seems like thousands of picks at this point. That's why I keep getting cut. But that's a good player in Gianni Breland. So I don't know where he's going. It doesn't say anything. But
he's also the guy who got the strip sack touchdown against Snow Tribe. So.
Well, that's a great team.
That changed it all.
That's a great team.
It changed it. They were already
great
blowing
management.
them
And
out.
they didn't have a quarterback last year, so we'll see how they have this year. So
back to the Nightcrawlers, please. Back to the Nightcrawlers.
If they took that game and now reassessed and they approach this season, I think that they're a scary team for even the team that comes out of the East to play in the Final Four.
Right.
Because like you were just talking about last year with the hypothetical and maybe playing the U, if they come out of Florida, they might be playing that team, and that's a real matchup. And if they get that
Huge
win,
matchup.
if
Man.
they get that win, there's going to be a lot of people that are upset.
Oh, Gianni's an insomniac.
Oh,
There you
shit.
go. So
Wow.
Yep.
So-
number 5 for real.
he got
here's what
upgraded. There you go.
So here's what I like about the Nightcrawlers. They are not talking like the Force isn't talking. They're keeping everything under wraps, and hopefully, for their sake, building the way the Force is building. So both those squads lost in the Elite Eight games on their way to an opportunity to get in the Final Four. Obviously, the Nightcrawlers were very, very close to winning, but still lost.
Right.
And I would say because they barely lost that game, they should have been on equal footing with the Rare Breed as far as the quality of their squad, and the Rare Breed did not advance past. I think who they lose, the U or BIC?
The U.
The U.
The
Right.
U.
I think they lost by 15, 20 points, right?
Yeah, they got dusted.
Right.
Buck couldn't cut it.
Well, it was only Lenny Manziel coming back and doing all of his special things that made it even close at that point.
Right. So, as the 3-on-1 podcast likes to do all the time, we're giving the Florida team all this credit that they are going to remain as great as they were, and they're going to get better, but the Force obviously isn't. But
They didn't lose.
Well, it's more of a matter of the advancement of the division. Derek, you put together a division that has more teams than like half of this league. So there's already a stacked talent. There's 3 to 4 teams in Florida. And when you look at how far they got, who they almost beat, and who they were in contention of beating, it's hard to keep them out of the top 5, let alone the top 4.
Right.
Don't
And when
forget
you
too,
look at
Rare
the-
Breed. Don't forget, Rare Breed did beat the U in the regular season last year too.
Right.
So that's Rare
They
Breed's
did?
a much different team. Yeah, they beat them in
Yeah, they did.
Delaware.
Yeah, that was their
Rare
first
Breed's
loss.
a much
That was their
different
they were
first loss.
5-3 going into that game, right?
Then Snow Tribe. Not like Rare Breed played Snow Tribe last year. They win by 50, easily.
Facts.
So that's a totally different animal. It cannot compare playing Snow Tribe to playing Rare Breed.
At all.
But,
Rare Breed.
So we're clear. The Force played BIC on the same level that Tampa Bay Nightcrawlers played the Rare Breed. It was the.
But that
Elite Eight
game was
matchup.
way closer.
But
Hold
hang
on.
So we're clear. It was the Elite Eight matchup.
Right,
The
Elite Eight.
game before that, who did the Nightcrawlers play?
The Buzz, and it was
Buzz.
like 55-30. So
Yeah.
Okay.
And no one
So-
even thought they
and-
were going to beat the Buzz. I knew they
Yeah,
were going to kill
no
the
one-
Buzz.
come on
I
now.
did.
That was an
I knew they
upset.
were going to kill the Buzz. Because I went down there and filmed a bunch of their games. Like I was
Right.
familiar. I
Let
knew
me,
what they had.
because
upset.
we're comparing the two teams directly, and I think that if you do look at the teams and their rosters, as they're currently constructed, we can have a conversation that goes a little longer. But I'm just going to isolate it to maybe the most important position.
We know your
Derek.
ass can have a conversation that goes longer.
Hold on. We got some money. Straight cash, homie. Shout out to D'Angelo Brown donating 99 cents to the cause. Once again, some straight cash, homie, from D'Angelo Brown in the chat, in the super chat. And all season long on A7FL.TV, you'll be able to donate to the super chat. All you got to do is hit the $sign in the chat function, and we'll shout you out on the air. We'll give you some love and maybe a hug.
Maybe
The
if you-
hug
if
will
you-
depend
if
on
you-
where and
if
who.
If you donate, you can get your question answered by the esteemed panel. But Derek, I will ask you this about the Force and Nightcrawlers. Which quarterback do you take and why?
Between Rock Briscoe and Mark Bagway.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
If I'm constructing a roster, I'm going to go Mark Bagway. It's an A7FL football all day long. If it was
And
padded
I think-
football and a 5-man down lineman, I'd take Rock.
And what I would say is if with that just one position. Now, I think there's an equivalence thing that we go like all into, but just that one position, I think the difference between the quarterback for the Forces and the quarterback for Nightcrawlers,
huge.
it's a pretty big difference based on what we've seen. Based on what
Agreed.
we've seen. So no disrespect to anybody that we're talking about, especially myself, who's gotten cut 3 times in just the show.
Hilarious.
But
Hilarious.
to be fair, I think that putting the Nightcrawlers at 3 means that the 2 teams in front of them are even more complete than those guys.
Let's just say Eli Manning won championships too. So
Whoa! Hold on.
when you
No need to assassinate the character of a future Hall of Famer. No need to do that.
But was he elite?
That boy
during
was
those
trash,
Yes.
too.
It was in the
Okay,
first three
Adam,
letters of his
Michael K,
name.
He
He
was
beat Brady
elite.
twice. And I'm not a Giants fan, by the way.
I
at
hate
all.
the Giants.
I always say
Screw
about Eli
Manning.
Manning, if I was like having a pickup basketball game or something, like I wouldn't pick him up. You know, I don't know how he ever did anything he did. I really don't.
It's the goofy-faced people like myself, Ryan, that overachieve. He's our special little guy. He won 2 chips.
It's
Yeah.
nepotism.
Great Giants quarterbacks have stupid faces.
It's nepotism.
Phil Simms,
You heard what I said. Never.
Eli Manning.
I mean,
My great late friend Y.A. Tittle had the little gimmick on top. I was actually friends with Y.A. Tittle, so that's not
Jared
a lie.
Lorenzen. Don't forget about.
I love Lorenzen.
Hefty
That's
lefty.
R.I.P. the hefty lefty.
by the way, Jared Lorenzen won a Super Bowl with the Giants. Does everybody know that? Yeah, he was.
Yes, he
like that.
did. All hail. Let's talk about our league. We're not talking about fall football. Fuck that noise.
So,
And, you know, we don't need a remote control to present our football either. But, you know, that's just me. Our season
so we
actually
haven't mentioned the fall champions from the Vegas division.
Yes, we did. The Insomniacs.
Nor will we.
No, the actual team that won the fall champion is the team that
The
just
Insomniacs.
the pit bosses won the thing.
Who?
You saw Coach Bartley on the side. I know it was hard
Who?
sometimes when he was standing behind people, but he was out there for the 30, 45 minutes just stopping the game to make sure he talked to the refs.
Man,
That
I ain't
was them,
talking
right?
about no bums, bro. I don't care about no pit bosses. They
Well,
lost
then who's
everybody.
2-1? Who's 2-1?
Who's not the pit bosses?
Well, who's left to talk about?
I mean,
Well, let's take a look at what we've got so far.
Hang on.
Nightcrawlers came in
to
at
break
3.
down the Nightcrawlers a little bit further because we literally only talked about Mark Bagway in that entire segment. So
Well, there's Deontay Henderson as well.
You talk about.
They have
all
some
the
great
other players on their
options at
roster
wide
then.
receiver.
Go ahead, Derek. What are the other roster moves?
that is my question. So you got the reason I know about the Nightcrawlers is because of what happened in the playoffs, and I've not seen them or seen any of their games since. So I was hoping you guys could give some insight on what the
let's
rest of their
say
team.
that-
I'll
I
tell
can
you
give
2
you this.
things I just saw on
Okay.
their roster, by the way. They got
Go ahead, Ryan.
West and Win. So I don't think West is on the Ghost.
What?
Running back.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I was just looking at their roster.
Turncoats
so-
last week of the season. Hey, it's a thing now. It's 2023, baby. We changed it right before the
What's the
season
second
started.
thing? What's the second thing?
West
Ryan?
and Win. Win's the other guy.
Yeah, the other big one. Yeah,
the 2
the other
big
big one.
backs that run
It's
18
the
last year.
A-team running backs.
Yeah,
They're like, man,
And-
we're trying to run with Bagway.
And
Let's go.
What I can tell you, one thing about what I saw over the offseason is Mark Bagway got voted one of the top quarterbacks in the nation.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we give the Sickwit roster and the guys that are coming from the flag, like we saw with the Kryptonite in the fall Vegas, we're giving them credit as being teams that we should definitely watch out for. That local to just Vegas flag ranking thing that we were talking about with the Sickwit and the Dream Team and all that kind of stuff. Mark Bagway is the #1 ranked quarterback in flag, period. Right? So I mean.
That holds a lot of weight. Like,
When you go from 11 players on the field to 7, and you saw what Sterry Codrington did when he came in for CP3 at the quarterback position, and all of a sudden BIC went from one of the top teams to one of the favorites. The quarterback position in this league, and that's why I keep getting cut, is very, very important.
Very important. He said, right. You keep getting cut. But again.
But let's count it backwards.
With something like that, with putting Mark Bagway as #1 quarterback in the nation for flag, even putting them at 3, I mean, what else can we do with them?
Put 'em
And
on
also, it's not
BIC,
like this
they
is going to be
become
locked
#1.
in.
Move them where
right.
they belong at 6.
Damn.
Ooh.
And you know what? At the end
Spicy.
of the day, it doesn't even matter because they play only the Ghost out of the top 10. So we could have put the Nightcrawlers at 1. We could have put them at 11. It doesn't ever matter. As long as they win their division and make the Final Four, then they'll be one of the top 4. And if they win 2 more games, then they'll be, dancing. And
So
hopefully top
it's
3.
interesting. All they have to do is win their division, and they're in the Final Four, huh?
Well, do we say right now that the Force are the favorite to win their division?
They
Yeah, but
better
then
be.
they have to play another division to get to the Final Four.
Well, so does Florida.
I mean, who set
No,
that?
they
up?
don't.
Yeah, so does
No,
Florida.
well,
Oh, no, they
Florida have to
don't.
play-
They
Who's
don't.
Florida have to play to make
But
the
we're in
Final
a
Four?
similar situation because technically,
Who set that up? Who set that up?
I mean, the way the United States is laid out, they're 1,200 miles away.
What I'm saying is
I've
that
already
I'm
I've already
asking
beat
the
this to a
guy-
pulp. We can let it go.
I'm asking the
This is
guy
me.
that got that got the West to be an automatic champ entrant. I mean, what path do you want?
Well, they don't have an automatic. They got to beat Ohio.
Does. The
no,
West
they don't.
Does. No,
they got to come.
No, they have to beat Ohio.
I see what you're saying, Corey. The way it was structured before, it was the top two teams, regardless of where they came from.
The Florida the East. So
Right.
I know that Ohio is technically like closer to the East division than Florida is, but I'm saying that's the West. I mean, we could put the Florida in the West and Ohio in the East if Derek wants.
No, we should have made it South versus North, so that way we could play Florida, and we can get all that shit talking out of the way, and we can settle on the field.
I mean, we could still do it.
We
got the president. We got.
It's not too
I'm
late.
into it.
Can we not
I'm
change
into it.
shit again?
Hold on. I'm just proposing one thing.
It changes
one
nothing.
Thing. Hear me out. One thing. There's only one thing I could propose, and Ryan, Matt, you guys, it's all up to you. In that Final Four, or what is it? Final Four in Ohio. Flip.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I'm saying.
Nothing changes.
That's it. And then you can have a Vegas team versus the Florida team.
They still gotta get there.
That's all I'm saying.
They still gotta play that weekend.
And we'll just put that in the
Okay,
air.
but hold on. But check this out, though. So if Florida and Jersey wins, now we're bringing two teams out to Vegas that aren't in Vegas?
Sir.
No. That can't happen.
But that's not.
We got to avoid the possibility. That can't happen.
Right.
That's not what Derek is assuming is going to happen.
Let's do a GoFundMe.
No, I know, but like we can't have any chance. There's no chance that can happen.
Let's do a GoFundMe. Come on, let's get them out.
We literally, Derek.
Well, we could have Ohio versus New Jersey and Vegas anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's the same difference.
That's a possibility.
There are many things that can happen.
Just think about it. That's all.
He's just pitching ideas, folks.
It's not ideal, but
it's not
ideal.
What if the DC bus and the whatever and
Olatangi volcanoes?
Yeah, whatever that is. All right, let's go.
Cut Corey's mic. Cut Corey's mic, please. Cut
Olatangi. Man.
All right, I'm going to take my show back now.
Oh, good luck.
And no, we're going to count it down from the top. You see number 3, the Nightcrawlers. But the first one's out if you're just joining us. The Kryptonite at 12. The Renegades at 11. And the last ones in, 10 and 9, are the Snow Tribe and the Silk City Animals. Coming in at number 8 were the Orlando Ghosts. Coming in at number 7 were the DC Buzz. Coming in at number 6, Demphoses, the Vegas Force. Shout out to Coach Mack, who hates all 3 of us. And number 5, the Insomniacs.
4.
Number 4 were the Patterson U. And number 3, where we left things off, the Nightcrawlers. Our number 2 team is a new team in the American Sevens Football League. They are a team that we have seen before under different names, but we've seen these players before.
Crocodiles.
The backup quarterbacks were in the greatest game in A7FL history before the A7FL championship game and possibly the A7FL Fall Brawl championship game. Head on down to Blood Gulch. Grab yourself the flag, because the Baltimore Watchmen are the number 2 team in the A7FL power rankings.
Could it have been anyone else? No. If it's a Baltimore all-star team, which the Watchmen are, let's not get it twisted, guys.
Confirmed.
The Baltimore Watchmen are the Baltimore all-star team. Everyone that was kicking up and was amazing over the last 5 to 6 seasons are all on the Watchmen. I mean, what else is there to say? And I know people don't like this, because I've been in the league long enough to know that this is what happens when a division or a city starts to get a little older, starts to fold up a little bit. Their best guys merge into one team. We've watched it with the Immortals, because that's what the PA Immortals were, an all-star team. Yep. We watched the Bombers and SWG do it, and that's what they were, an all-star team. The Chiefs did it as well with the Bombers, and listen, it works. These guys end up being champions. Watch this thing that the Watchmen are doing. I'm not gonna lie, that is super cool. I can't wait to say it when they win games. I can't wait. watch this, is awesome. Seriously, they are an all-star team, and as of right now, they're the only team I think that can compete head-to-head with BIC. They have the talent. They have the experience.
Wait, we haven't seen them on the list yet. Did we forget to put them on the top 10?
They're number 15. They're the only team that could compete head-to-head with BIC. Collectively, those guys have seen BIC more than anyone in the league. Collectively. We're talking Gators. We're talking Rare Breed. We're talking Kings, Vikings. We're talking the entire Baltimore Cobras. These guys are ready on paper.
Right. And
they still
really
got to put it together.
Yeah, what it's going to come down to is a couple of things. How these teams mesh, because when these teams were originally talking about potentially making the extinct crocodile species, one of the things I heard Snags say on a recent live is the way Marcus Cole said is like, oh, it's going to be 30 of the Rare Breed and 10 of the Gators guys. And of course, Snags, former Gator, was really enthusiastic about that. Check out his lives. They're a thing of beauty. But yeah, that's really funny, and it's
I only saw one, and I never watched another one.
Oh, you're missing a lot of entertainment.
Nah, man.
Hilarious.
The group chat whenever those happen is, oh my god.
But
why?
The point is that when you look at the roster and you start talking about talent, and we had Bone on, and he was listing some of the guys that we can expect on this team. I think the number one guy that comes to mind is what version and how much of John Gauze Jr. are the Watchmen going to be able to get. Now, if their backup plan is OG Buck, that's a great situation to fall back on. But I think what all of the guys in Baltimore believe is that if they have John Gauze as their quarterback, 100% healthy, with a offensive line and a running game and wide receivers, that they're going to win the championship, because the last time he was that way, he won the championship in 2018 for the Baltimore Gators. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. It'll be interesting to see how much of that is the hopes of Baltimore and not the realization of what's true. Because I think we're all rooting for John Gauze to be healthy.
Right.
But it's year after year after year. That's the question. So it's a great thing, and maybe why they're number two, that they have not only OG Buck as a quarterback that's going to get a lot of playing time, but they also have Lenny Manziel, which we know is a episode 15 conversation.
And we're going to be bringing up some of those.
What's the narrative with Lenny Manziel? Why do you guys talk like he's actually good? What's this narrative?
Why did I
he's
hear
a problem
that?
A little bit. He's not a full-time quarterback, but I mean,
yeah,
you're
but
not
why
ready
did
for
I
him.
hear that there's people on that roster that want him to start week 1 against the Buzz?
Because people say things
yes,
to
but
you
that's why we're talking about it.
No, they know you're gonna talk about it.
All right,
I will never talk about it.
Who's they?
I will never talk about Lenny Manziel starting over Ace and Buck. That shit sounds nuts.
Yeah, but Buck is talking about Lenny starting
because he knows you're gonna talk about it, not anybody else.
I don't think Buck's worried about me saying
it's a setup. Corey,
I have a question for you
I'm
guys.
not being set up. I'm here having fun talking about A7.
Is
Derek?
Lenny Manziel's name actually Lenny Manziel, or is his name Lenny and they threw the Manziel in because he plays like Johnny Manziel?
He doesn't. But no, his name is not. His actual name is not Manziel. By the way.
Is his name even
That's
Lenny?
His name is Lenny.
I think his name is Lenny. I think it is Lenny.
Okay.
And he most of the time is wearing a green.
It's Archduke Leonard Ferdinand.
There we go.
Ah.
I've
He's
seen
tough.
Lenny.
He's tough.
Lenny is very tough. Let me not super discredit the guy. Lenny is very tough. I've played against Lenny a few times. I'm not gonna sit here and say I was like super duper impressed, but Lenny makes the plays that he needs to make to move his team where he needs them to go. Cool, but the whole pretense, is Lenny gonna start?
I don't think anybody
he won the
says
game
that
against
Lenny.
the Nightcrawlers, man. That
He
was
did.
He had that clutch
did.
play. He's clutch.
But I
don't
still
think anybody says that Lenny's better than Buck. I don't think anybody says that.
I don't think anyone is saying that.
I think that Lenny
Anybody
just
but
keeps
Cory.
going in. No, I don't say that. I never say that. That's why it's. That's
Well,
why
we got to
it
remember that
flabbergasts me.
Buck was the one who put Lenny in for that
That's
Maryland
what I'm
special.
saying.
That's what my narrative is.
That's what I'm saying.
That is insane.
That's all
No
I'm saying.
offense, Lenny. No disrespect at all.
Buck knows how to use Lenny, and Buck and Lenny
Yes,
are
he
together
does. That's
again.
good. All right.
And I'm saying that's dangerous, and that's even more dangerous. Lenny is good paired up with a great quarterback.
Can we
say
also
that.
just shout out how cool this fucking logo is? It just makes me want to play
I saw
System
the
Link.
jerseys today. The jerseys look sick.
I feel like
You got to send me a photo of that.
Yeah,
I
they're
feel
real
like
We'll
nice.
put it on the
only
A7FL
disservice-
social.
I feel like the only disservice to this logo is that the player that I call Master Chief is somehow not on the Watchmen, which that is clearly a Halo character.
That's definitely a fire logo though. No.
That's a Spartan if I've ever seen one.
Kayfabe.
No, it is not. No, it is not.
It is not. It may actually look like one, but it's not. It's not.
No, it's
not.
It's from
Looking at you.
Thebes, Then it's a different
No,
Greek city.
it's from A7FL.
Okay.
Yes.
That's it.
And
I
you
like the
can
whole story
see.
behind Baltimore. They got a chip on their shoulder this year.
Sure.
Like their home field got moved closer.
You like that story, Ryan?
I
It was a
mean,
great
I
story.
know I was wrapped up in it, and they were beefing with me a little bit over it. But hey, look, we had an issue with the field in Baltimore. We had to move it, so it's closer to DC.
That
it
was
uncertainty.
specifically your fault too, Ryan. I'm upset with the way you handled that field.
I don't know.
Really quiet. I thought there was going to be noise over that. I thought there was going to be noise over that.
No, I'm letting you die on that one.
Yeah,
Silence.
we laid out for you, Cory. You're welcome.
We've talked about leaving a restaurant without paying the bill before. Let's go.
Anyway.
And also, one thing I want to announce for Sunday is that we're going to have a weekly receipt segment where we look back on the podcast in a pregame for some of our bigger games this week, and we're going to have some of those conversations. Shout out to Bobby and Jared on the research team putting that together. But we are here with our number one team. And, of course, there can only be one team,
Yes, sir.
and it's obviously the Olatangi Volcanoes.
Let's go. Olatangi.
The signing of Cameron Newton, a former NFL player at quarterback. They got Maurice Jones-Drew is playing running back for them. I know we talked about Devontae Carter as a bowling ball.
Look at Corey's face while he says all this bullshit. Look at his face. Just look how
He
serious.
sells it
He
so
looks
well.
like he believes it. He looks like he believes it.
Chad Ochocinco, he's got the green. He's going to wear the Hall of Fame jacket, the fake one, because he's not a Hall of Famer yet, and he's going to show up to the games. It's a lot of NFL guys on this, and I think it's specifically because of the strength of the logo.
Anyway, the real number one. It could
The
only
Trenton
be
BIC.
one. The Trenton BIC. Come on now. Come on.
Couldn't be anybody else but the defending champions.
I mean, was there ever any doubt? I mean, honestly, through 2 to 10 was a big mix-up. I know a lot of guys couldn't really put that together, but everybody knew who number one was.
Yeah.
We talked about Trey Robinson earlier in this broadcast. Derek, when you guys had him as a guest on the other side of the ball, he said something really interesting, and I think this is a good way to talk about BIC without just saying the obvious that they are the favorite. Trey felt like the East representative would be a 14-point underdog from the team that comes out west. Thoughts?
My thoughts is
Say
he's
that
crazy.
again?
Okay, all right, good.
Say that one more time.
Trey Robinson said that the West champ will be a 14-point favorite in the championship against the Eastern representative.
I say it right now. The West is an 8-point dog, just based on how the thing is structured and the teams that are available from the West versus the teams that are available from the East. Their best versus our best on paper right now. The West is an 8-point dog.
And
the way I feel our attritions come.
And if we say that, and they're the number one team and they're in the East. So if we say that BIC is the representative in the championship for the East, who would you say is that 8-point dog just on paper preseason?
It's hard to say because I haven't seen the Force and Stick play yet. So just based on last season, I have to say Force, just because of what they've done, how they've built, what they've done in the offseason, all their practices, all their workouts, their tryouts. I've seen it all. I've seen everything come together the way it's supposed to, the way a football team's supposed to be built. So it's hard for me to even consider knocking them out of first place until someone beats them. And until that happens, the Force is number one in my book. But when I see the pedigree of Sick-Witted, I see the pedigree of the Insomniacs, and I know what the Kryptonite can eventually bring to the table when they finish building. There's a lot of there's a gauntlet that the Force is going to have to run, and they're going to be tested, and that's the best thing that could happen to them. Because they're going to have to play at least 3 high-level, really hard-fought games this season, they will need to elevate their game to be at a point to be able to take on that first team out of Ohio if they beat the team out of LA. Let's not get that twisted.
Right.
And then having run the gauntlet, playing those type of squads and be able to still win, they will go in with the confidence they need to play against the champion from the East, which we think will be BIC, but not and take the game serious start to finish. And the preparation the week of, the not going out the night before, the doing the walkthroughs the right way, actually talking about the game while we're on the flights, like doing all the things that a team that's prepping to play in a championship game should do. Yeah. Those things are going to happen this season that didn't happen last season, and they'll be ready.
And that was my follow-up question. You answered all of that. So basically what you're saying is those are the reasons that the Force go from last year, the 62-19, where 6 of those points were a stupid pick six that Sterry threw when he was fooling around, in my opinion.
It's still a pick six.
It was a great play by Pac-Man Jones. Let's not get it twisted. And then when we watched the last drive of the game in which they scored, what, Rob? Were the starters?
It's Derek, bro. It's Derek.
So 62-19. 62-19. Well,
63-19, wasn't it?
60 something to almost 20.
Right.
So that 40-point swing, you're saying that the Force have done enough in your mind, or the division in general has done enough in your mind to make up for that 32 points?
It goes beyond that. So the things that were going against the Force last season, back-to-back travel weeks.
Yeah, you mentioned them. Yeah.
Back-to-back travel weeks.
It's a
short-staffed. There's
if you bet NBA, it's a real thing, right? It's a real thing.
6 to 8 guys couldn't make the trip.
Yep.
The guys that could make the trip got in late the night before. Some showed up that morning.
Not going to be an issue this year, apparently.
Right. No, definitely won't be an issue this year because we'll be in Vegas, right? So there'll be a 35-man roster in Vegas, and who knows how many guys will show up from the East. So advantage Vegas.
No reason to go out the night before because
I'm going to be very honest with you. If it's BIC going to Vegas, all 50 of those guys are coming. I promise you that.
Now, are they going to stay true?
Well, they're going to have to pay for it.
In the city.
Oh, they're going to pay for it. Yeah.
And they'll do this. Everybody's going to do this in the car.
BIC is not going to lay down for anyone. And again, I'm not discrediting anybody that's 2, 3, or 4, or 5. Those guys can give BIC a game. If BIC thinks shit's sweet, they can lose. Anybody can lose. We know that. Heavy is the head that road. Yeah, they'll be on the road. Yeah, they'll be on the road.
Will they stay true brothers in Christ in Sin City?
Now, but hear me out.
Even in the Final Four, they're going to be on the road, man.
They're going to be on the road.
I think they might be able to stay in Ohio. I think they might be able to find a way to stay in. In Vegas,
they won't risk it. Trust me, they won't. Listen, Kenny Stansbury. Yeah,
because they can just celebrate the next day. So if they're
Kenny Stansbury's not going to let them do any of that crazy shit. Those guys are going to be very disciplined.
I think we're hiding the lead. Why are they going to do the right thing? It's because Sterry Codrington runs that team and leads that team the right way.
You mean Kenny Stansbury?
Sterry Codrington, the quarterback, the leader of the team.
You mean Kenny Stansbury? Yeah, okay.
Well, Kenny Stansbury obviously leads that team too, but when your quarterback is the no-nonsense, let's-win guy that after a championship,
he's
later was already game planning for week 1 of this season.
Listen, Sterry's not win the championship this year with anybody. He sees everything on the message board. You think
Sunday is going to be interesting.
Look.
What? Nothing? What?
Cory always talking some shit. Anyway, BIC, Sterry Codrington is not going to play with anybody. He's heard the criticism. He's heard the many times people put Huff over him. He's heard the talk about Mark Bagway. Sterry is still playing this game with the chip on his shoulder, which is what I think is going to propel them throughout the season. And it'll keep them, even though we're going to see those guys dancing, having fun, making jokes, do all that, Sterry's focus will keep those guys in line. Like Cory was saying. And I think, like Ryan said, the only difficulty this year for BIC is that travel. That is very much uncharted territory for BIC. That travel that far. And we all know how that can affect the team. There's definitely with some jet lag.
Well, quick, Rob, in the chat.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say serious
D'Angelo
question.
Brown says that BIC are going to lose week 1.
D'Angelo Brown doesn't believe that.
And then he says what? And then later on to troll K-Wack, he says something even better, which I think is hilarious. Look at it.
Devils playing. That's sick. That's sick.
That is, I didn't want to say it. You said it.
That's sick.
What?
But
quarter,
Derek, you were going to have a point after Cory.
Oh, I'm sorry, because this is a very serious point. What quarter, if BIC makes the championship in Vegas, what quarter does Courage show up if he has to get to Vegas from New York?
He lands
For the after party.
at throw-off. He shows up. Now, he's going to land at McCarran. So he's going to have to get in a van, drive for 90 minutes. He won't change until he gets to the stadium. He'll be wearing a full three-piece suit, traveling. It's like 1955, and he's flying on Pan Am. So when he gets to the venue, he's going to run into a bathroom, change, come on the field with the whole goat mask. There will be 90 seconds left in the third quarter.
That's very
Courage,
specific.
listen, Courage showing up at the after party is insane, bro. I'm done. I'm done.
Listen. Courage talked about last year. Most of the year, he didn't have to break a sweat. Maybe for the championship, because it's in such a hot location, he won't have to break a sweat either, because he's going to show up for just the after party, where it's well air conditioned in Anderson Automotive Arena.
Listen, at this point, Courage is damn near a legend in this league. He's done so much in such a not even a short amount of time. Courage has done so much every year. And Ryan
Showing
was
up
one of the
midway second quarter, for him to have the stats that he does.
Trust me, it's insane.
I'm sorry,
Ryan was one of the first people to point out how good Courage was, and he was on my team. I knew Courage was good, but I didn't realize how good he was. And I have a bad habit of when I play with someone, I don't notice how good they are. I just think, hey, we're kicking ass because we're just kicking ass. But Courage was, he was actually really, really good. But he's always been really, really good. Now with the way BIC is using him as a tight end, and he's blocking and release, like, it's kind of crazy. I don't know.
He had 100. I think he had 100 yards against the Gators.
And the year with
right.
the championship, he
and
had a lot of yards too.
Yeah,
I kind of like the way.
Well,
they're
Ryan,
using
what's
him.
your take on it?
I love it.
They saved him. Yeah, really.
I think it's good, man. I think Courage is an unbelievable blocker. You know, like he and he's got such a great football mind, and he's got great hands, deceptive speed. I mean, he's perfect for like that wing back tight end.
Mm-hmm.
He could still get carries. But I think for Sterry, he's the perfect safety valve, because you can trust a guy like Courage to have your back, pick up that block, pick up that blindside blitz.
And then leak out, catch a pass in the flat, and then
Right.
stiff arm somebody's face. Into
And
the
let's just be honest, that's what
Sorry,
Courage always was.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch that championship in 2016, Courage was there getting Isaac Negron to cover him,
Mm-hmm.
because I was blocking the defensive end or the linebacker that was supposed to cover him. You're not covering Courage with Isaac. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
he's incredible, man. His overall highlight reel has got to be like the best out of anybody. Put like Barry Sanders' highlight and then put Courage's highlight, and
Yeah,
I
it's
like
not
equally.
that far.
Yeah, seriously, like
It's
his
not that far
highlight
apart.
is ridiculous.
And I'm
Is
in a
Derek's
lot
a
of
Lions
them.
fan?
I'm in a lot of them. I'm in a lot of those highlights. Just to be clear.
But as we wrap things up here, I want to get final thoughts here. We'll go around the horn. We'll start with Derek Duncan, host of The Other Side of the Ball, which you can listen to at A7FLNV.com, or just search Other Side of the Ball wherever you get audio. Derek, what are your final thoughts?
Very disappointed that, again, the LA Aces did not make the list after narrowly losing to the Force, but the Force are still in the 6th spot. The same type of credit that was given to other teams that have narrowly lost and put at number 3. I find these things odd. I also want to know where the Rollers are at in this, or if they're still a team, because there was a lot of talk going on about them. But
They
they're not
fusion
still a team.
dance with the Omegas.
Okay. All right, then. Well, in that case, I expect big things out of the Omegas. Surprised that they didn't get discussed with all the great things I heard about what the Rollers might be. But overall, I love the list. I love the list because it's a ton of motivation for the Vegas guys. It's a ton of motivation for Sick With It to not even be mentioned, and Kryptonite is on the list. So I cannot wait to see what this podcast means for the death threats you guys get. And what it means for me. So I'm excited. I'm glad you guys had me on the show. I love the list. And
Matt keeps getting that messenger pigeon, and he's pretty sure it's from Ohio.
right.
Yeah.
But let me
It just
say this
shows up
about
and
the Aces.
stares at me.
They lost to the Force last year.
Cory,
Right?
Cory. Let's just go around the horn. You'll get your turn. You'll get your turn.
You'll get.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about the Aces anymore.
I don't
Last
want to
time we
talk
saw
about
them,
the
They
Aces.
lost 80-0. We saw
did
them.
get
It was
80-0.
80-0.
But
It was a
didn't the
snow
Florida
track.
team lose 70-7? But you guys are still putting them in the top 3.
That was
No,
the last
the
time we
Florida
saw
team
them.
that got
18.
washed
That was
didn't get
18.
even on the list.
Yeah, that was
That's
18.
not
I
bad.
don't even
Last
think they're
time we
playing
saw
this year.
That was the 18.
But Ryan DePaul, A7FL president, overall gadfly of the league. What are your final thoughts?
Dude, Matt, this is now like phrase number 63 of something you said I've never heard. What the hell is a gadfly?
Oh, my goodness.
Do you make this shit up seriously? Like you
No,
cannot just make things up.
went to the New
David
York
Isaacs
University
right
and I
now
watch a
is
lot
like,
of television.
David Isaacs is going to clip this and just continually to
What
text
is a
us
gadfly?
every
What is
day.
What is it? I have to know before. I ask the
Matt
question.
Ryan is the Dennis Miller of our division.
I've got.
All right, what's the question
Let me
again?
not go into that. An annoying person, especially one who provokes others into action by criticism. I was trying to make it a positive. I meant to say a raconteur,
It's a real
and
word.
gadfly came out.
All right.
What's the question again?
Piss
Your
someone
final
off.
thoughts.
What?
Pissing someone off.
The list. No, on anti-disestablishmentarianism. Give me
can't wait for
500
the
words on the
summertime when all
industrial
this shit's
fucking
over.
revolution.
You can't wait for it to be over.
I can't wait till the
It didn't
summertime
even
already.
Start.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
Well, you don't
my
even have to
final
be at the
thoughts.
field this year.
Yeah,
You don't get to leave home.
It's odd.
Who's going to be the team that you are most excited to watch in person?
I'm always excited about the Nightcrawlers. You know, I liked them last year. I don't know. I think one thing that we didn't touch on with BIC is we're always talking about their offense, but you got Olay over there now with Verardi.
With Verardi.
and that pass
With a couple
rush,
varieties.
Yeah, those two guys on the other, I look at this like as a football player, like what I would prepare for. Those two guys, I can't prepare for. No offense is going to
And last week on the
be able to
pod-
prepare for those guys.
I think Kenny Stansbury said they had their next Rookie of the Year or Defensive Player of the Year.
They got a new tight end out of Freehold. Yeah,
And they got a
he's-
running back. Yeah, they said is good. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
I mean,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to
They'll
the
be
Final
okay.
Four. Honestly, I think historically that's always been the best week of football.
Yep.
And I love that it's in a neutral location. We're all having to meet out there. I can't wait for that Final Four. That's what I'm looking forward to. Thoughts on the season? It's going to be a great season. I love that we're getting all the coverage, the look-ins from all these different divisions. It's been a work in progress. Some of the newer divisions haven't gotten their shine in previous years because we've been kind of building out this broadcast. So, stay tuned. It's going to be a good representation for, all the players, all the teams in the league. We're going to see all the stats and everything coming in. It's going to be great for the fans to follow. And we're the best at this spring football. So, people are going to see us this year and look forward to it.
And as Gray the cat is attacking Big Rob. On that note, what I would say is that if you are upset, Joey Bate and Woody Ness-Charles, about how much you're getting paid attention to, if you make the plays this season, the film will be on you and you will probably get attention. So we notice guys when they make plays. We talk about guys that we notice. So just go out there and play some football. The A7FL, and you do the right things, all of that stuff takes care of itself.
And Rob?
I'm actually going to leave off on a very positive note. I'm very proud. I know. I'm very proud, and it's it's just great to see from, I started in the league in like 2009, and to see two Vegas teams make a top 10, two Florida teams make a top 10, two Baltimore teams make a top 10, where it used to be all Jersey and PA. That's just great to see. I really wish everyone a good and healthy season. Hope everybody's working out. Hope everybody's drinking their water. And hope everybody's prepared to lose to BIC. That's it.
That's what they're drinking, Rob. That's exactly.
The good thing about this list is that it's always going to be changed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Car crash. Guys, a car crash.
Have you asked Ryan which shirt he's going to buy yet? Because we already know which one's up.
No.
Right. All right,
Did we ask
Cory,
Ryan?
do the bit.
Never asked Ryan.
I like
How
that
do you-
I like the Huss Shirt, man.
Oh, there it is.
tinyurl.com/A7FL.
Yeah, I like that.
tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. I still got it for you, Matt. So, Ryan, you're going to go with Huss Huss? Derek?
You know I'm thick boy season.
Let's go. You already bought it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's why
here-
we don't
yeah.
ask.
I bought
And shout out to
two
the
of them.
biggest fan of Thick Boy Season, RTU. Every time I shout it this season, it's for you, my guy. I do it because I
RTU or
love
RT
you.
RTU.
No,
Is it-
RT.
So, Keith Salmons, you love that it's Thick Boy season. You will continue
Hey,
to say that you
yo.
love that it's Thick Boy season.
Hey, yo.
But that you didn't pause.
Nah, listen, you pause for that. I'm not pausing nothing.
Right.
All right, to
But
pull the car
what
out of the
is-
ditch, I want to thank Derek Duncan and
you go.
Ryan DePaul for joining us here on the podcast. You can go to A7FL.com to find the latest schedules, and you can also check out right here the games for Week 1. We start with the BIC and the Renegades, the Snow Tribe and the U, and the Pit Bosses and the Force being our Games of the Week package. You can watch all A7FL games, all 10 games live on A7FL.tv. All you got to do is click your division's tab and keep tabs on what time your games are starting across the league. You can do that at A7FL.com. Once again, that's A7FL.com. Go to tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. That's tinyurl.com/A7FL merch to buy your t-shirts. Get the Huss Huss, the Thick Boy Season, the 3-on-1 podcast shirt with me, Rob, and Cory on it, and the I'll Try shirt featuring Cory Hammond. You can also get the Thick Boy Season shirt with me looking like this.
Just like
Get handsome for the summer. It's a Thick Boy Summer in the American Sevens Football League. We lost Ryan, and that completely fucked up our camera here, so I got to fix this. But you can go
I'm just looking at a
to
different spot. I don't know what
tinyurl.com/A7FL Skillshare. That's tinyurl.com/A7FL Skillshare. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here tonight. For everyone here at the A7FL, we are 5 days away from the title game. 4 days away now. We're going to see you Sunday. So long from the A7FL.
don't
And
be an
also-
asshole. I'll try.